it's Miss Ellis, and today we're going to be reading Nutmeg and Barley. It's a nice fall story because the first day of autumn is September the 22nd, and so we're going to see what this squirrel and this little mouse have in common. Nutmeg and Barley, a budding friendship. Nutmeg and Barley, a Budding Friendship by Jane Bynum. In Moose Jaw County, on the edge of the woods, lived two neighbors who had nothing in common. Halfway up an old pecan tree lived a chatty red squirrel, Nutmeg. Loved bright sunshine and loud thunderstorms, but most of all she loved to dance to her favorite forest tune. In a hollow log below, a quiet gray mouse made his home. Barley loved cool shade and gentle breezes, and at the end of the day, he loved to relax with a little music. Here's Nutmeg's house, and here's Barley's house down here in the log. Every morning, Nutmeg chattered in the branches with the other squirrels while Barley played a game of solitaire. "Hi, neighbor," Nutmeg often called. "Why don't you join us for a little gossip?" "No, thanks, I'm busy," Barley always replied. Every afternoon, Barley tended his garden while Nutmeg soaked up the sunshine. Every afternoon, Nutmeg called to her neighbor, "Come on up for a visit. The view is delicious." As usual, Barley just shook his head and went back to weeding, stopping only for a cup of tea, which he sipped all alone. Never before had Nutmeg known a rodent that she couldn't charm. "I don't suppose we have a thing in common anyway," Nutmeg said before she turned away. But later, Nutmeg found fresh flowers on her doorstep, and she knew exactly who had left them there. Barley had left them. The next day, Nutmeg went to thank Barley for the gift, but as she got close to Barley's house, a squeaky groan drifted out through the window. "Barley, are you okay?" she called out. "Do you need anything?" Barley sneezed. "Oh, achoo! I would love some tea." But through a whistling wind, Nutmeg heard, "You should leave me be." So Nutmeg left. Night fell, and Nutmeg needed cheering up. Maybe dancing would make her feel better. "Hey, someone start the music," she called. But all she heard was the soft rustle of leaves. Where do you think the music was coming from that Nutmeg always danced to? And it wasn't playing tonight, so what happened? Days went by, and Nutmeg had seen Barley even once, but she was determined not to worry about that rude little rodent. Nutmeg opened a book and tried to read, but she just couldn't sit still. She made her favorite snack, pecan biscuits with tickleberry tea, but she wasn't hungry. Finally, Nutmeg decided that flowers might brighten her mood, and she just knew where to go for the freshest ones. And Nutmeg went and tapped on Barley's door. No one answered. When she knocked a little harder, the door flew open, and there lay Barley, shivering under a threadbare blanket. "Oh, Barley," cried Nutmeg, "chills in the middle of summer? You must have an awful fever." Barley tried to sit up. "I was hoping you'd come back," he moaned. "Lie down," Nutmeg ordered. "I'll just be a moment." Poor Barley, he'd been there for a week. And he asked for some tea a long time ago, and she thought he said, "Leave me be." Nutmeg hurried home and soon returned with blankets and plenty of food. She built a fire in the old wood stove and brewed some tea for her sick little neighbor. She read her favorite books to Barley, and she sat with him all night, making sure that he was extra comfortable. By daybreak, Nutmeg looked quite comfortable too, and Barley felt much better. That morning, Nutmeg woke to a familiar melody. She flew outside to investigate where was the music coming from. Barley, it's you! You're the one who makes my favorite dancing music. Yes, replied her new friend, and now it's time we dance. In Moose Jaw County, on the edge of the woods, lived two neighbors who now have a couple of things in common: a love for lively music and their heartfelt friendship. I like that story. I like Nutmeg and Barley because it shows that you don't have to have a lot of things in common with other people or other animals to become a friend. Barley was a little bit quiet and wanted his solitude, and Nutmeg was a little bit louder, and she liked a lot of attention and liked to do a lot of fun things. But sometimes just being a good friend and being kind and compassionate to others is enough to make a friendship. I hope you find a friend today that is not exactly like you, that you can have something in common with, even if it's just your kindness. I'll see you next time.